Player, or maybe a very good college ball player, or a functional citizen in society. You know, our coaches in college got their hands on you, and their whole intent was to develop you, the whole you. When I got into business, I was expecting the same thing. And honestly, I didn't see it. It was almost like this crash and burn mentality. And there was this lack of empathy. It was no patience. And nobody talked about teamwork. And I was just blown away. So at any rate, here we are 19 years later. I sit on corporate boards. People consider me a thought leader. And all what happened for me is that I was able to take my whole life, and sports included, and really come and fill some gaps that corporate America didn't know about. So swim, first of all, can teach a person how to be highly successful. The Sacred Six are based on a shark, and sharks run the ocean, okay? If you and I go into the ocean, I know in Minneapolis we got lakes, and there's not one fish in there to really worry about that can kill you, right? I live in Florida now. My wife's from Miami. You go in that ocean, the ocean itself can kill you, okay? But there's some fish out there that can literally kill you. And so when you go into the ocean, the fish we fear the most is a shark. And the book Swim is about the shark mindset. Do you guys know that sharks never stop moving or they die? I mean, that's the first principle of success, work ethic. I don't care what industry you're in. People who are highly successful have incredible work ethics. You know, everybody's looking at The Last Dance and Michael Jordan, incredible work ethic. People want to talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z, incredible work ethic. James Brown was the hardest working man in show business. And so I know a lot of African-American men who feel that they've been screwed around by life. They're not given opportunities. But my first question is, how strong was your work ethic? Before you start making excuses, and this is a locker room conversation, okay? I understand challenges. I understand racism is real. I understand oppression. I get it, but let's have this locker room conversation and say, bruh, how hard are you willing to work? Okay? And if you're willing to work hard, there's a certain favor that's going to be on your life from God, and can't nobody stop that. Now, you can use this excuse that your skin is holding you back. But my question is, if a shark never stops moving, right? That's how sharks breathe. And so to me, the first principle of success is work ethic. The worst thing I see is go down the street, whether you're in North Minneapolis, whether you're in DC or in Chicago, and doing working hours where guys should have a job, brothers standing on the corner, smoking weed, and just standing there at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Shouldn't you be at your job? Or you should be asleep? But you must work at night. Help me understand why a grown man who's able-bodied is not working hard. And that's a locker room conversation that we need to have amongst African Americans.
Of course, he'll say, nobody will give me a job, but that's not the answer.
Man, you can go cut some grass. You can go wash your windows, okay? We live in America where people are dying to come here, literally. I live in Florida. They are dying to come here. People are getting on small boats, literally in the ocean, you know, pushing a paddle boat 7 hours from Haiti and Cuba and all these other countries, and they are dying on the way here, you know, coming in cargo boats and can't breathe just for an opportunity. And so, to me, the sacred number one of the six is that sharks never stop moving forward or they die. And that's how they get oxygen in their lungs. They just work hard. And so the first principle of success of a shark, they outwork every other fish. That's simple. It's just that simple. I don't care if you start at McDonald's. If you work hard, it's a matter of time before you're the manager. It's just a matter of time because it's hard to find reliable people who are going to come to work on time, going to do the right thing, have some integrity. It's not going to steal, not going to be trying to hook their boy up and all that kind of stuff. I work in corporate America and I also work in franchising. You know, my biggest client is Jersey Mike Subs. They're looking for people who just gonna work hard and be reliable, right? They don't care if you're black or white. They don't care. Can you come work hard and can you be reliable? And in 6 months, you might be the manager.
Mm.
So you can't not work hard and then look around and wonder why you might not be having success.
Or complain. Before you go to principle number 2, let me tell people more about you. Walter Bond, my guest, is an American former professional basketball player. He was a 6'5" shooting guard from the University of Minnesota. He went to the NBA for 3 seasons, played with Dallas Mavericks from 92 to 93, Utah Jazz from 93 to 94, and Detroit Pistons in 94 and 95. So you've done a lot as a pro ball player. You also played, I think, in Italy, and you've hosted a television show, a Food Network show called Giving You the Business. As you said, you're from Chicago, so you've got a great and varied career. And I'm so pleased to have this chance to connect with you again because of our common Minnesota experience and relationships here, but also because of the topic and because of the spirit of the conversation. I can't tell you how much I'm applauding you in my heart as you're sharing this notion of there's a principled pathway. There's a pathway that's built on principles that will get you from here to there. You just got to want to do it. So let me stop there and ask you to talk about number 2.
And before I answer number 2, I want people to understand where I'm coming from. I am not being judgmental, okay? And if people know my story, there was a phase in my life where I struggled and I discovered work ethic. And here's what happened. It happened right there in Minneapolis. I was a high school basketball star, highly recruited, and chose Minnesota. In my freshman year, I don't play at all. And I'm devastated, right? Like, what do you mean? And I never forget when the season ended, my dad called me and he was like, you didn't play. My dad was always asking questions. And I said, no. He says, why not? And Al, I gave him a good excuse. I said, politics, Dad. It's political. So long story short, you know, we had this conversation and he asked me the question, how does your coach get paid? And I was like, well, honestly, he gets paid to win. And he says, okay, son, if he gets paid to win, won't he play the players that give him the best chance to win? And I was like, good point. And then it was like, well, son, are you working hard? Are you staying after practice? Are you putting extra work in? Every player on that campus was at least all state where they came from. So your high school career is over. You're at a new level, and this new level is going to require you to work harder, son. Click. And honestly, that really was my launching pad of work ethic. Up until that point, I really relied on talent, ability. Even in the classroom, I wasn't even a hard worker in school. I just relied on being smart, and I could figure it out, and I can just get a C, and I'll be fine. You know, and that was kind of like my approach. And so when I got put on the bench, I was devastated, and I didn't know how to respond until I had that conversation. Just working hard, it didn't come natural until I had this conversation with my coach, my mentor, my father. And I began to bust my butt, man. And work ethic began to change my narrative. And before I knew it, I became the top 6 man in the country. I'm sure you remember we had a very good Gopher team. That same year, that my sophomore year when I came back, we went to the Sweet 16, and I was considered the top 6 man in the country. And every year I would go to Coach Haskins' office, and I would ask him a question: what do I need to do to play in the NBA? And every year he gave me a list of what to work on. And honestly, in my off season, I went to work, whether it was losing 10 pounds, whether it was my left hand, whether it was working on my jump shot, whether it was just coming off screens, whatever he encouraged me to work on, we worked on it. And that our assistant coaches helped us too. You know, a lot of times leaders don't understand how important their staff is. You know, and I don't care if this is in business or in sports, you got to have a staff that embodies your same core values, but also are willing to work. Coach Haskins was a country boy, and he was a hard worker by nature.
Mm-hmm.
He had no other choice but to work hard coming from the South. But his assistant coaches were hard workers. You can grab a coach and say, look, coach, I need a workout, or can we go in the gym and work on this and work on that? And took coach's credit. He had incredible work ethic with his staff, and his staff really began to develop the players, and collectively, each one of us got better every year. And that's how he built a great program. And so that same metaphor, as I said earlier, when I got into corporate America, I didn't see it. I didn't see business leaders encouraged by personal development and say, well, let me give my guys a leadership training. Let me get my guys reading the same book. Let's sit down and have a mentoring program within this company. I saw it as just this quick judgment, this hire, fire. And I call them fruit inspectors, right? Either you like the person or you don't. If you don't like them, you get rid of them. And to me, that's not leadership. Leadership says to me that I'm going to develop somebody. Mm-hmm. And so the sacred six, number 2, is that sharks are curious and they're always learning. Mm-hmm. Think about that metaphor. Sharks bite us in the ocean only because they're curious. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they confuse us with turtles. Mm-hmm. So if you're a shark, you see fish all day. And then you see these arms and legs and his head.
What's this? Yeah.
And you come over and take a bite because they don't have hands. Mm-hmm. And typically they spit us out. Mm-hmm. You rarely hear about someone getting eaten by a shark because they really don't like how we taste. They take a bite, they spit us out. And you might be missing an arm and a leg when they come with you. But that's the nature of a shark. So sharks never stop moving. And sharks grow about a foot a year. Imagine that growth. And the way they do it metaphorically is that they're always learning. And so I challenge people, are you reading books? Are you getting the proper certification? Are you getting smarter, right? And Coach Haskins had a saying in sports. He said, man, by the time you really learn how to play basketball, you're going to be too old to play.
You got some work to do.
And the moment I became that grizzly veteran, and I knew what he meant, I was playing in Germany. I was 31 years old. Played the best basketball of my life.
Wow.
And I remember that statement, and my vertical was declining. My quickness was declining. And I made the first team all German league. And I remember Coach Haskins telling us that, like, when you finally really learn how to play, you're going to be too old to play. And so that's the maturity, the maturation of athletes. And it's also the maturation of a person. Right now, Tom Brady, the football player, my God, there's no defense he's not seen. Nor is there any defense he doesn't know how to beat because he's just been doing it for so long, he has a command. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the same thing that we need to understand if we're going to have some wealth creation. You got to become an expert at something. Now, you can't be sitting around having these dreams. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to make all this money. But what are you an expert in? You got to become an expert, right? And so to me, to have that work ethic, but also to be willing to learn and grow and develop an expertise is important. Michael Jordan went to go play baseball at 31. It was impossible for him to have enough time to become a Major League Baseball player, right? I started playing ball at 8. I didn't get paid until I was 23. That's almost 15, 16 years of playing the sport until you're worthy to get paid. So he didn't have that kind of runway to become a Major League Baseball player, even though he had a 13-game hitting streak. A lot of people say that Michael Jordan failed. He had a 13-game hitting streak. And what happened, some of these other baseball players who've been playing baseball full-time since they were 8, they were experts, and they knew how to throw that perfect curveball. They knew how to throw a changeup. And Michael Jordan didn't have enough time to really make the adjustment. You can't tell me if he had started from day one and totally focused on baseball, he wouldn't be a Major League Baseball player. The point is, he became an expert in basketball because his whole life, he committed to becoming an expert in basketball. So, Al, we just made some people some money. Because unless you're committed to becoming an expert, you're really fooling yourself to ever think you're really going to be financially thriving, because you need to become an expert in something in order to thrive financially. Okay? And that's the formula that sometimes I think people don't understand. And that's why we go into the corner store. We say in Chicago, the corner store, and we play them numbers. Right?
If I win the lottery.
And that's your only chance to get wealthy, that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
You're much more likely to get healthy just by working your butt off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're much more positioned to be financially lucrative, not by playing numbers. Had that same commitment to reading books.
Right.
Had that same commitment to finishing school. And I'm from Chicago, so I'm talking to my people. You got some folks gonna play them numbers. And they're gonna grab their son, their grandson, take these dollars, you go up there and you play these numbers. And grandma is in on it too. You better and bring me my ticket. And grandma gonna pay them numbers every day. And so my thought is, man, if you're gonna be consistent, let's be consistent with reading. Let's be consistent with learning. Let's be consistent in school. Let's be consistent at work and have that same drive and commitment. And you don't have to be lucky. Michael Jordan wasn't lucky, he was good. Tiger Woods wasn't lucky, he was good. You go up and down the business world. I deal with a lot of CEOs. I just got a call 30 minutes ago from the founder of Jersey Mike Subs, a guy named Peter Cancrow. That dude works all day. You call him lucky, he ain't lucky. He's good. and that when you get lucky because you're good. I guess being really an expert is what's going to increase your luck. Right. If you want to create some financial wealth.
I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane. My guest is Walter Bond, author, speaker extraordinaire, motivator, author, and we're talking about the principles he's presenting in his book, his best-selling book called Swim. Also, let me introduce you to Davion Moore. Davion Moore is a reporter for Inside News, but his forte is sports. Mine is not. So, Davion, I'm glad you're there, and feel free to jump in the conversation around things that you're interested in as a journalist, but also as a sports enthusiast. So, Walter, continue. This is fascinating. Thank you for sharing these principles, these ideas. And my job here is simply to be punctuation, to allow you to use this platform to lay the story out, because I think what you're saying is so critical, so important, and you're saying it powerfully, clearly, saying it well. So let's keep going.
Well, you know, the third one, and Davion, you jump in when you want to ask a question or comment, is that sharks only look up, they never look down. Which means I want my people to hear me, which means sharks are very positive and they don't deal with nothing but no beneath them. In other words, sharks aren't petty. And I've shared this on stages with realtors, with technology professionals. And every once in a while, I'll run into someone who dies with sharks that will literally go in the ocean and swim with sharks. And the thing about a shark, if you understand the nature of a shark, you can't swim with it, right? Because a shark, as she told me, one woman grabbed me in the ballroom. I just left the stage and I talked about the shark, and I'm talking about the suckerfish and the parasite. She says, Walter, I swim with sharks all the time. People think I'm crazy, but you're exactly right. As long as I position myself below the shark doesn't even know I'm there, because sharks do not look down. They only look up. And I'm telling you, being positive, having an optimistic outlook is so important to success, because if you're not optimistic, you're not going to work hard. If you're not optimistic, you're going to interpret everything that happens to you negatively. And if we're not careful, you could talk yourself out of anything. Oh, I'm not going to try and go to college. They'll never accept me. Oh, I'm not going to go to law school. I'll never get in. Oh, I'm not going to start my own business. I don't know how to. Oh, we hear it all the time.
Yeah.
People talk themselves out of success instead of talking themselves into success. And that's why sharks having a great attitude is such a big part of the Sacred Six, because sometimes people need to take inventory of their mindset. They need to think about what they think about. And to fast forward, when I left the U, I never started in college. I came off the bench my whole entire career. I broke my foot twice, and I was about to take a job. And my dad was like, son, do you believe you're good enough to play in the NBA? And I was thinking, like, what? Dad, I didn't start in college. That's not how it works. That was my mindset. But he didn't ask me, did I think I had a chance? He asked me, did I think if I was good enough? That's a totally different question. If you would have said do I have a chance? I would have said, no, absolutely not. Nobody comes off the bench in college and makes it to the NBA. That's unreal. But he asked me, did I think I was good enough? And now I believed I was good enough. And the way he phrased the question resonated with me. And he was like, go for it, son. I got your back.
You can
Now,
do
in
it.
a moment, I'm going to talk about the shark and the suckerfish because that's the real treat in my book, Swim, because that's what leadership is all about. Sharks allow suckerfish to connect to them. And the shark's job is to take that suckerfish places that it can't take itself, that they're just not strong enough to get there. You know, people don't know my full story. I flunked out of my first high school. Okay. And then my shark came by. And I connected to my shark. And my shark became my favorite teacher, who's also my high school principal, who's also my dad. And so when I tell this story about a shark, I understand why Tiger Woods fell apart. Tiger Woods fell apart when his dad died. He lost his support system. Michael Jordan went to play baseball right after his dad died.
Right.
And he used baseball as a way to honor and to mourn his father. But he was a little lost because he lost his support system. And I don't care who you are, I don't care what you do, you got to have a shark. And so for my whole life, man, I've been that suckerfish. And I've been so thankful that God sent sharks by. Coach Haskins was a shark for me. And I was a suckerfish. When I ended my basketball career and started as a motivational speaker, I got connected with a guy named Desi Williamson. You guys might remember Desi Williamson. He's a local Minneapolis guy, Hall of Fame speaker, former Gopher football player. I called him on the phone and basically didn't know it at the time. I was like, I want to be a motivational speaker. Will you be my shark? I need to be your suckerfish. And a shark's job, a mentor's job, a coach's job is to take that suckerfish places that they can't take themselves. So when I challenge my CEOs, are you a shark taking your suckerfish places? The conviction that hits them out, dude, I've had CEOs call me and literally confess, why am I on the airplane reading your book crying? Because they realize they've not been a good shark. They've been eating their suckerfish. Instead of understanding what real leadership is. And so through the book Swim, we can not only teach an individual how to be successful, we're also teaching people, men, women, doesn't matter, how to become great leaders. And let me tell you something, man, I've heard some great people speak. And when you hear a great person speak, they always talk about the people that they built up. Every great coach has a coaching tree. I'm gonna say that one more time. Every great coach in sports has a coaching tree, which means they have developed other head coaches. Let's take a look at Denny Green. Now, Denny Green developed basically the African-American head coach. If it was not for Denny Green, we would not have any African-American NFL head coaches. You could almost trace every single black coach in the NFL to Denny Green. That is scary. You could almost make the argument, without that shark, there will be no NFL head coaches at all. Screw the Rooney Rule. You can go back to Tony Dungy. You can go back to Mike Tomlin. You can go back to Lovie Smith. Almost every African-American coach, they connected to Denny Green, which means Denny Green was a great white shark, and all these other suckerfish was connected to Denny Green, and he took them places they couldn't take themselves. And that's what I'm talking about leadership is. They are head coaches in the NFL right now because one day a shark came by named Denny Green, and they connected to the shark. That's leadership to me. So don't tell me you a millionaire. Who have you lifted up? Don't brag about how much money you made. You a boss. Okay. You tell me you a boss. How many other people have you inspired, motivated, and gotten them jobs and mentored them and tutored them and helped their careers along? You want to tell me what a boss is? That's a boss. And that's what we're doing with the book Swim. We're teaching people not only how to be a shark themselves, but the ultimate of the sacred six is you got to take people with you. Michael Jordan carried careers. Steve Kerr, no offense, doesn't have that career without Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen needed Michael Jordan. He needed that mindset. Michael Jordan had incredible talent, but he had an incredible mindset. Scottie Pippen showed up on the scene, was incredibly talented, but he was a country boy. Never really played in the big city. Didn't have the NBA swag. Because he used to be a basketball manager. But Scottie Pippen connected to a shark. And now Pippen's considered one of the greatest ball players of all time. I don't care who you are. At some point in your life, you got to be a sucker fish. And you got to connect to the right shark.
Mhm.
If you hang around that shark long enough, the transformation will take place, and you'll become a shark yourself. And that's why the African-American father is so important to our communities. That we have a lot of African-American young men who never had that shark. Let me tell you something. If your daddy wasn't there, I understand. But you better go get an uncle.
Mm-hmm.
You better go grab a coach. You better go grab a next door neighbor. You can go to the Boys and Girls Club. You got to go somewhere and get that support system, because nobody can have success without a support system.
Awesome. This is wonderful. I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane. Every Wednesday, we're connecting with thought leaders, with people in business and economic development and personal development. And today is no exception. I'm so pleased to have this conversation with Brother Walter Bond. Walter Bond, former NBA player, now a public speaker. There's the right word for it. You told me before. But you're at the highest level in the public speaking arena. And you do that in part because you prepared to do it, but also you've got a powerful, phenomenal message. You got something to say, and people are gravitating to you because they want to learn, they want to hear, and they want to improve and build their own lives. So we're talking about your book, Swim. Again, on the call is Davion Moore, Kelvin Curria, who's the engineering the program. Let me introduce you to him as well. Kelvin is a young football player at Wisconsin last year, I think. This year he's not, but he's also a young entrepreneurial tech wizard and hip hop music person. So I'm pleased to have these two young men on my team supporting this conversation with you. Again, and if Kelvin or Davion want to join with a question or comment or response, guys, feel free to jump in. I think Walter's made the invitation as well.
Well, I think Davion put something in the chat, and the question was, what led me to become a speaker? Mm-hmm. And again, I go back to Coach Haskins. When I left the University of Minnesota, again, my NBA career did not look imminent. It did not. It looked like, dude, go get a job, basically. And I kind of shocked some people when I tried. But Coach Haskins said to me, he said, son, you should be a motivational speaker. Yeah, at 23 years old, I'm like, what are you talking about? I came in here to talk about the NBA, and you were saying I should be a speaker. So anyway, 10 years later, when my career was over, we didn't have any money coming in. I remember him saying that. And I was like, man, Coach said I should be a motivational speaker. And so the reality was, Al, he saw something in me that I didn't see myself. And see, that goes back to leadership. You know, most leaders, I want y'all to hear me clearly. Most leaders focus on what's wrong with somebody instead of focusing on what's right with you. And Coach Haskins saw a gift in me to become a speaker. Now I'm a Hall of Fame speaker. Mm-hmm. If he didn't say that to me, I wouldn't be on a Zoom call right now. If he doesn't say that to me, I'm not sitting on corporate boards. If he's not saying that to me, I don't get to speak in front of 3,000 and 4,000 and 10,000. I don't, Sprint and T-Mobile called last week. And so I'm so thankful for my Sharks that have positioned me to be successful. And again, when you understand that, yeah, you've been successful, but also understand it's because you had incredible coaches and mentors and support along the way. It does something to your heart, and it makes you very humble, and it makes you eager to be help to somebody else. And we live in this world where, for the most part, we've been trained to go get yours, bro. Right? Mm-hmm. Go get yours. And when I talk about swim, the reason why people got to read it is because I talk about the shark, the suckerfish, and the parasite. The shark, the suckerfish, and the parasite. Beautiful parable. But in other words, there's basically three kinds of people in this world. Sharks, suckerfish, mm-hmm. and parasites. Another reason why a lot of people read the book and have this emotional experience is, one, for the most part, many business leaders and executives feel that conviction, like, man, am I really a shark? Am I really helping people develop? And two, I've been thinking I'm successful, but honestly, have I been a parasite? Which means I've been taken for years. And if you ask any VP of HR from any company, okay, they will tell you there are parasites on the payroll. And there's not much we can do about it because they're protected by HR. And they're protected by all these employment laws, because if you fire me, I'll sue for discrimination. If you fire me, I'll sue you for gender discrimination. If you fire me, and they get protected. And the truth is, only you know if you come to work hard every 2 weeks. Only you know that you actually gave me your best for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And to me, there's a value exchange that should happen for every company, that in exchange for the check you get every 2 weeks, the fair exchange is that you just work hard. I'm gonna pay you every 2 weeks. You're gonna take it. Yeah. You're gonna pay your mortgage. You're gonna pay your rent. You're gonna pay your car note. You're gonna eat. You're gonna buy your kids clothes. You're not gonna be on the street. You're gainfully employed, and I'm gonna pay you a fair salary. In exchange, all I want you to do is come and care. All I want you to do is come and work hard. All I want you to do is be a good teammate. All I want you to do is buy into the culture. All I want you to do is overcome all of our imperfections. We're not perfect, and you see our imperfections, but that's no excuse for you not to come to work and work hard every day. And a lot of fans go to sporting events, and they say, well, I don't like the NBA. Why not? Because they don't play hard. I prefer college because those kids play hard. The NBA guys don't play hard until the fourth quarter. Well, do you know what it's like to sprint 7 miles in 2 hours? And two, if I come to work with you, how hard are you working? Mm-hmm. You're taking a 10-minute break and you were gone 30 minutes. I don't even know why you took lunch, because in the afternoon, you don't even work because you're on Facebook and Instagram. Mm-hmm. And you come to the arena and you say, I don't work hard. Really? Okay. The Gallup poll says that 51% of professionals are actively disengaged, which means they go to work and go through the motions. So when I played in the NBA, I knew half that arena, half that stadium, who was booing and hissing and saying you suck, didn't go to work and work hard. So how dare you come to the stadium and say I don't work hard? And when I break that down to people, they look at me like, ooh, never thought about it. You're a pro. If you get paid every 2 weeks, you're a pro. If you get paid, you are a pro. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be a pro, act like a pro. If you're going to be a pro, be excellent. And when I break it down in that context in front of people, man, people get emotional because they look at me like, dude, I never thought of it that way. Like, you're right. Like, I don't work hard. Like, how dare me criticize these athletes who might get a concussion and never be able to be the same or tear a knee up. I watched a documentary on Alex Smith, the NFL quarterback, almost lost his life. He broke his leg in the game. His body got septic, and he almost died. Like, come on. Like, really? I've had my teeth knocked out. I've broken my foot, and I became one of the best in the world, and all you can say is come to the stadium and say, oh, he's okay. So let me come to work with you, bro. Let me follow your life.
See what you're putting into it. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so a lot of cases, man, when I come to people and I talk about my failures, I talk about my successes, mm-hmm. and when I teach them the Sacred Six, they got something to hold on to. Okay, I got to work hard.
We're on 4 now or 3. What are we on?
Let's review. Let's review.
Yeah, let's review it.
Number 1, sharks never stop moving or they die. Mm-hmm. Sharks only look up. They never look down. Sharks are curious and always learning. That's 3. Let's go to 4. Mm-hmm. Sharks are respectful. You notice if you go to an aquarium that the sharks aren't killing each other? Mm-hmm. They're in that tank peacefully swimming together. Why? Because sharks recognize and respect other sharks. We live in a world of abundance. I really don't understand the hate. I don't understand jealousy and envy. I really don't get that, because when I played in the NBA, you were happy for your teammate when they got that big contract.
Mm-hmm.
Because you knew, like, man, if I handle my business, I'm going to get one too.
Mm-hmm.
There was no room to really get jealous or selfish because you understood that, you know what, if I help my team win, if I got numbers, I'm going to get the same payoff, right? And so to me, sharks respect their environment and they respect other sharks. It's powerful because how many people working at Target actually appreciate that they got a job?
Mm-hmm.
Now, right now, because of the coronavirus and there's 36 million people unemployed, they wish they had their job they used to complain about. They wish they had that job right now that they used to complain about. Mm-hmm. Used to watch the clock and, oh, God, they wish they had that job right now because now they're worried about eating. Now they're worried about stimulus checks. And now they let government do something. I need to go to a food bank. And so to me, if you got a job, even if it ain't perfect, respect that you got a job.
You got a job. Yeah, you got an opportunity. Absolutely.
Your boss is an idiot. I get that too. I've had some. But you know what? There's something positive, if you're always looking up, mm-hmm. that you can hang on to that can allow you to keep going forward. Right? And I've been in moments where my mind got wrong and I meditated on something that annoyed me and I just couldn't take it. Right? I just couldn't. I just couldn't. And I've been there myself because I meditated on the wrong things. And honestly, our mindset, and that's why we call it the shark mindset, we're in total control of our mindset. And right now with the coronavirus and COVID-19, this is a great opportunity. The whole world's getting reset. I'm excited. And I expect when this thing is over to be in better position. Mm-hmm. The worst thing I can do right now is nothing. And I tell anybody, worst thing you can do right now is nothing. You waiting for this to be over? Why are you waiting? Make your money now. So when it's over, you're in better position. That's
right. Get busy. Create the world you want and feel responsible for that and know that you can do it. It's up to you. Number 5.
Number 5 is, I get confused sometimes. Sharks never stop moving forward. Sharks are curious, always learning. Sharks respect other sharks. Sharks only look up, they never look down. And sharks take others with them. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole metaphor between the shark and the suckerfish. Mm-hmm. And the importance of that is really understanding how to be a good teammate, mm-hmm. right? And when we share this with people, they're especially in America, you know, I can pick on America because I am American, that part of our culture is to go get yours. And to me, that is such a dangerous place to be. And when we go get ours, I mean, it puts us in a place where we don't even care about anybody else. And think about how dangerous that is, about not caring about other people. And the truth is that the beauty of success is about caring about somebody else. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my favorite shark of all time is Jesus Christ. And if you want to talk about the ultimate shark, I mean, you can look no further than Jesus Christ because, you know, Jesus basically is the ultimate shark. And for the believer, what they do, they connect to the shark. And by connecting to that shark, let me tell you something. He's taking me places that I can't take myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm so thankful. I'm so appreciative. And all I want to do is be a good suckerfish. Mm-hmm. Right? That's all I want to do. And as long as I'm a good suckerfish, he's going to take me places that I can't take myself. Now, let me break something else down, you know, because, you know, a lot of times people don't fully get where I'm coming from, that the suckerfish has a job to do. Okay, the suckerfish doesn't just get completely free rides. They got a job to do. And here's the job. Sharks, no matter how powerful they are vulnerable to what we call parasites. Mm-hmm. And if a parasite gets into your lungs of a shark, if it gets into your gills, a shark basically will get weakened by the parasite, and the parasites will continue to take over your body. So if you ever see a shark that's been beached on the ocean, understand that they've been afflicted by a parasite. So the suckerfish, in exchange for free rides in the ocean, in exchange for free meals, all they got to do is eat the parasite. All they got to do is keep the shark clean. Okay? And if you really think about it, when a rookie comes to the NFL, veterans get excited because they need that energy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 34. I need this rookie to come to practice and work hard every day. I need that. I remember when I was a rookie. You understand what I'm saying? And so to me, you know, when I see a young kid in high school that says, hey, I want to play in NBA, I'm drawn to him because I remember what that felt like. I remember dreaming, hoping, believing, and I just needed someone to help me. You know, I remember being a young speaker, and I took Desi Williamson to breakfast, and I was like, look, I want to be a motivational speaker, and he helped me. I didn't know anything about speaking, and he helped me, right? And so to me, when I see someone come to me and say, hey, man, Walter, I want to be a speaker, and my heart is warm because, man, I can relate. I want to help you, right? And I'm equipped now to help them because I've become an expert in basketball. I've become an expert in motivational speaking. I've become an expert in book writing. And so now I don't have to be a suckerfish. Now I can be a shark. But the truth is, throughout our day, we should be vacillating between being a shark and a suckerfish.
Right.
And I saw it up close. Again, I mentioned Jersey Mike's. They're my biggest client. I went to a lunch in Detroit, and I sat down with Peter Cancro, the founder, a guy named Tom Monahan, who's the founder of Domino's Pizza. And I'm sitting there at this lunch, Al, and I'm trying to figure out how in the heck did I get in this room? Thank you, Lord. These are two business titans, and I'm sitting here breaking bread with them. But I noticed something. When we left the meeting, I grabbed Peter Cancro, and I said, Peter, I've been around you for 2 years, and everywhere you go, you are a shark. But today, you were the suckerfish. He laughed because he bought everybody one of my books. He understands the shark and the suckerfish metaphor. And he was like, yeah, I guess you're right. Tom Monahan, the founder of Domino's, was my mentor. And in that meeting, he was asking questions. Tom Monahan was talking. And Peter Cancro was like, wow, good point. And so this dude who owns 2,300 locations humbled himself to another man and basically allowed Tom Monahan, the founder of Domino's, to mentor him. When I saw that, I was like, man, I am thoroughly convinced that we all should have a mentor. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care how big you've gotten. You could be situational mentorship, you know, whether it's a podcast, right? Or whether it's whatever you're trying to do. We all should have some type of mentor or coach that can help us save time, money, frustration, answer questions, to ultimately, the mentor's job is to help you get to where you want to be. And so when I go back to my business leaders, and when they read the book, the conviction is overwhelming because they realize, you know what? People consider me successful. And I'm reading this book, and I'm not sure I have been as successful as I should be because I've gotten mine.
There's more to it than that.
I'm not sure, right? So Denny Green from heaven should be looking at the NFL saying, my, that's mine. That's mine. That's mine. I think he has maybe like 12 head coaches that became NFL head coaches that came under his tree. So that's the metaphor. Like Denny Green became a head coach, but he didn't stop there. He began to develop and create other head coaches. And that's the shark and the suckerfish metaphor that when my business leaders get a hold of that, man, and the way we did it in the book is a parable. It's these two friends that went to high school together. One fell on hard times. One came from like a little preppy family. And they meet up again 30 years later, and how their lives turned out are much different than it seemed based on how they started. And I won't give away all the secrets of swim, but I've had people say, man, this should be a movie. I've had people say this should be a TV show. I've had people say, man, we should animate this so we can do this for young kids. Because if you're confused about being successful, all you got to do is get your hands on the Sacred Six.
There you go.
If you get your hands on the Sacred Six, and let me go over number 6.
Yep.
And I kind of went out of order, but sharks are made of cartilage, which means they are flexible. Mm-hmm. They know when to pivot. They know when to change. They know when to shift. How many people have we met and said, man, it's just how I am? They're stubborn. They're immobile. They're just brittle. And it's hard to get better if you're stubborn. It's hard to get better if you're just set in your ways. And so being flexible is so important to a shark, because if something's not working, let me shift. Mm-hmm. Let me pivot. Let me change my approach, because ultimately I'm not married to my approach. I'm married to success. And if I'm married to success, it might require me change my approach. And so there they are, Sacred Six. Never stop moving or you die. Only look up, never look down. Be curious and always learning. Respect your environment and other sharks. Be flexible. Know when to pivot, know when to change, know when to shift. But ultimately, be a good teammate. Be that shark that's willing to take other people with you. And once you get to Sacred Six, man, I really believe that it's biblical. That every last one of these are biblically based. Mm-hmm. And people that read the book Swim, who are believers, are like, dude, this is a covert gospel message. Absolutely.
Here it is.
You got God, the body of Christ, and the parasite ain't nothing but the devil. So whether you are a believer or not, when you read the book Swim and understand the shark mindset, which to me equates to the Christ-like mind, that's when you're going to be successful. And that don't matter if you're black or white, because God says he's not a respecter of persons.
That's right. Listen, this has been a great conversation. Let me say this to you. You are an easy interview. You made my job so easy.
You just said I talked too much.
And exciting. I am excited, and pleased to have this time to spend with you, to learn from you, to hear from you, and to create this platform for this conversation. I think it's a conversation that's necessary, timely, and I know it will benefit a lot of people, because we'll be sharing this across our platforms over a period of time. If you're listening to this on Facebook, like it and share it. If you're checking us out on YouTube, subscribe. We want to bring these kinds of conversations to you every Wednesday at around 1:15 regular time. Our objective is to reflect the critical thinking that goes on in us and among us, to validate our belief that our thoughts matter and that our analysis of the future matters as well. So again, thank you so much. I see Davion, you jumped in there. Question or comment?
Yeah, I just had a couple questions. Just as a former NBA player, what advice would you give to like young players, you know, who are coming into the league, who might not have had that shark up to that point? Like, what would you say to them?
Oh, I got a powerful message. And in fact, when I left the NBA, I was so disappointed in myself. Mm. Here's what I mean by that. My whole life, all I wanted to do was make it to the NBA. And I got there. Unfortunately, I didn't set new goals. I should have recalibrated, right? And should have said, okay, I'm here. Celebrate, yay. And then what's my new goals?
Right.
And what happened, Davion, I was so excited about making it. In my second game, I had like 25 points. So I knew I was legit. I knew I belonged. But honestly, I was just happy to be there. And that attitude wasn't enough to keep me there. And, you know, I came from such a long journey to get there that you can imagine that I was really happy to be there, because I didn't start in college. But if I could go back in time, I would have recalibrated right away. Say, okay, all right, I got here. Now what, right? And so we see that in life. You know, I meet people all the time like, man, I got this job. All my homies at the crib in jail, dead. And I'm just happy to have this job. Like, okay, I get it. You're happy. All your boys fell off the track. But, yo, let's not just be happy with his job now. How about becoming a manager now? Why don't you set your eyes on being whatever it is? And so for ball players, you can't just be happy to be there. And we see it all the time where guys just want to live the lifestyle of the NBA.
Right.
They want to have the money. They want to drive the cars. They want the Instagram model and really don't understand what it means to become a pro, to understand work ethic, to understand what it means to get bigger, stronger, and faster. And we see it clearly. You know, Kevin Garnett had an impeccable work ethic. That dude's passion for the game was incredible. And that's what really drove his career. And that's what drove the revenue as well, right? And so Michael Jordan shared it with us. We all saw it in plain view. His mindset, he talked about, you know what, being the best. But he got offended when you even mentioned somebody else in the same sentence. Like, what? Clyde Drexler? Man, I murdered him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, that competitive spirit is what drove Michael Jordan. I just did a podcast with Jerry Stackhouse, former NBA ball player. 18 years. That's 2 good careers. I wish I could have gotten 9 years out of it. He had 18. And on my podcast, he said, I was always looking for the next goal. Like, I was always looking for the next thing to push me, the next thing to challenge me. And he was flexible. So he shared all the Sacred Six, and he had not even read the book. He hadn't heard of the book. He made an interesting comment. He said, you know, as I got older, a lot of veterans have trouble recalibrating and accepting a new role. Yeah, I was a lottery pick. But once I got 34, 35, I understood now I got to come off the bench. And we see athletes struggle with that. Allen Iverson struggled with that. You know, Carmelo Anthony has struggled with that. Like, okay, Carmelo, okay, Melo, you ain't Melo no more. Now you got to come off this bench, bro.
Yeah, right.
You can't be flexible. Okay, if you can't flex, you see a lot of talent entertainers. I'm a headliner. Like, no, not on this format. You're going to open up the show. And the ego get involved. Now, I'm not going to take it because I'm a headliner. Be flexible. Understand what it means. And you know what? It might just be a moment. It might be a season. Maybe you fell off. You need to open just to get your legs back up under you. Maybe you can close again. We saw Charlie Wilson do it. Charlie Wilson's had 2 different lives in entertainment.
Yep.
Right? The before drugs and after drugs. You know, but he humbled himself to be able to get back on his feet. So the metaphor of being made out of cartilage, come on. That's applicable to all of us. You got to understand when you need to make that adjustment. You know, when this coronavirus hit, I had to get my business online. Now I'm working and busting my butt to get everything online. I'm so excited. We're there. I had a video on LinkedIn that went viral. I got things on YouTube, 3 million views. I'm like, you know what? This coronavirus is going to be my biggest blessing because I'm pivoting. I'm changing. I'm shifting. And when this thing is over, I'm going to kill you on the platform and I'm going to kill you online. It don't matter how you want it. You want to talk to me on Zoom? Boom. You want me at your conference? Boom. You want to read my book? Boom. You want me to coach you? Boom. You want me to be on your corporate board? Boom. And it requires us to be flexible. I got speakers calling me saying, man, you know, when do you think it's going to be over? You know, I mean, how many more months? I'm like, dude, if you're not working to get your business online, you're crazy. They look at me like, what? Like, you're waiting for this to be over? Dude, you got to make your move now. Because this is going to be a whole new world we live in. And don't meet me there, beat me there. That's my mindset. And so for athletes, for example, Davion, when their career is over, they stop moving. I told you earlier, sharks never stop moving or they die.
Right.
When my basketball career was over, which means nobody called my phone, my agent was like, look, man, I got nothing. That's the sign your career is over. And every athlete deals with that, okay? But you can't stop moving or you're going to die. And so immediately, as soon as my career was over, my wife and I, we pivoted and we shifted and we kept moving. And within 3 years, we were able to replace our NBA income in 36 months. But we never stopped moving. And so these Sacred Six, honestly, this is a lifestyle. And if we can get people to buy into the Sacred Six, and people are comparing them to Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits. But the truth is, the Sacred Six, and the way we did it in a parable, it has more real-life application. And you can read a story about people, and it's a parable, but it's so real because I'm real. And I ain't going to put out nothing fake that people can't relate to. So whatever your industry is, outwork everybody. Whatever your industry is, become an expert. Whatever your industry is, be a good mentor. it's across the board, it's applicable, and you can get to the top of your food chain. And if you pick a lucrative industry, if you're in a lucrative industry, the rest is history.
You have a copy of your book there?
I do have a copy of my book. Kelly, you want to go grab me a copy of Swim?
Let's put it on the screen here so people can see that.
Give me 30 seconds. I got my technology director wearing multiple hats.
And then where can people buy the book? Give them contact information for you.
Yeah, my website is walterbond.com. That's walterbond.com. And in fact, you can go to our website and you can order the book through our website. It's all Amazon, and I've been a bestseller according to Porchlight Books for 4 months in a row. And Jersey Mike's, for example, they bought 3,000 and gave them to all their franchisees. They're about to buy another 3,000 before the coronavirus hit. Mm-hmm. And I was going to speak at the conference again, but we're working hard online. It's in bookstores in Singapore. It's in bookstores in Australia. It's reaching, because everyone knows about sharks. Everyone understands sharks. Mm-hmm. And here's the cover. Thank you, Kendall. Swim. In fact, we did a book signing right there in Edina at Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
So I know for a fact that Barnes & Noble's in Edina carry Swim. It's a quick read. We have an audio book. We have all formats, digital. And I'm telling you, I'm just going to hold it up here. Look, Mark.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And the book is really, I had a woman email me yesterday, said, my God, I read your book in one day and I couldn't put it down. And again, I got grown men who are not typically readers saying, dude, why am I reading your book and tearing up?
There we go.
Because, here's one thing about life. When you learn something and have an emotional experience through the learning process, it sticks. How many times have we said, man, I'll never forget that happened, and I ain't gonna forget that as long as I live? Why? You learned something. There was something you experienced, and it taught you such a valuable lesson. You'll say, man, I'll never forget that as long as I live. Now, being a Chicago City kid, man, there were some safety lessons that I learned 15, 16, 17.
Stay with you a long time.
Yeah, because it was like, dude, I got to learn this lesson or I might die. Mm-hmm. And that's how crazy Chicago can be. Mm-hmm. And if you don't learn these lessons, you can put yourself in harm's way. And so wisdom, to me, is so important for us to accumulate wisdom and then pass it down to younger generations. I hate to say it, but we almost got a lost generation right now with this street mentality that have almost been corrupted by their mindset. Like, you supposed to smoke weed all day, bro. You ain't supposed to have no woman, no wife. You supposed to have a bunch of bees and a bunch of what? Like,
where'd that come from? Yeah. Listen, we're out of time. This has been a good show, a good program, but we're going to do it again. And what I'll do in the future, Walter Bond, is have you with some other people who are moving in the same path, right? Who can bounce off of each other, keep sharing ideas, challenge each other. But I think the most important thing is simply to put these ideas into the atmosphere, to share, to talk, and to demonstrate and share the wisdom that we have. Thank you so very much. And we'll keep on going. Davion, thank you. Kelvin, thank you. I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane. Every Wednesday around 1 o'clock, we'll do our talk with business and professional community leaders, talking about building our community. What was the word you said at the very beginning as the topic? It was the master
the fundamentals.
Master the fundamentals.
Absolutely.
And that's what we talked about today, mastering the fundamentals. Walter Bond, a Hall of Fame speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Al.